by giving you actionable advice, tips, guidance, and information to help you achieve your own personal, professional, and spiritual goals. Today, we have a very interesting topic for you. We're going to talk about boundaries and bravery, exploring the strength of saying no. That our title today is Boundaries and Bravery, exploring the strength of saying no. And as I said before, I'm Dr. William T. Choctaw, and I will be your host this morning. One of the issues that comes up frequently as we deal with stress, anxiety, um, sadness, etc., much of that has to do with our ability to say no. And so we're going to explore how you can just simply use the process of saying no, which is completely within your control, to decrease your stress and anxiety level. As always, with these podcasts are part of our masterclass series on masterclass medicine. Our purpose, very simply, is to inform you by giving you information, to educate you, hoping that information will change your behavior, which we define as education. And thirdly, that information, after you've received it, been educated, will motivate you to not only help yourself in your environment, but also to help others, to reach out and to pay it forward, if you will. As always, I like to start with my beliefs, our beliefs. I believe life is about being of service to others. I believe knowledge is power. I believe leaders can change the world. Our ability to control how we think um, obviously is based on what we believe. If we were to reverse engineer our brain process or our process in general, what we believe affects how we think. How we think affects how we act, and how we act affects our behavior in general. So we want to pay a lot of attention to what our beliefs are, likewise to what our thoughts and our actions are. Now, if we were to look at the word health, HEALTH, the World Health Organization in 1948 defines health as referring to a state of complete emotional, mental, and physical well being. And so I would add to that spiritual well being. So health is our state of complete emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well being. And I would further advance that by saying that our health is a continuous interrelationship between those four things. So it's not a steady state, but it's constant movement back and forth, where each area is leveraging the other adjacent area to determine what our overall health is at any particular time. And so we're going to focus in on one particular area of that. And that has to do with our ability, and we're still talking about stress management, and we're talking about decreasing anxiety. And that is what our internal abilities are that would allow us to help ourselves. Okay. These are the things that we have, or the tools that we have within ourselves that can help make ourselves healthier, in my judgment. Now, much of this is really based on what my patients have taught me. I practice medicine for over 50 years, general surgery and medicine over 50 years. And I've been alive over 76 years. And so this is a combination of what I have learned in these different areas, and how that can affect what my patients do, and also these are things, as I said, that they have basically taught me. So one of the things that I want to do today, and not take up a lot of your time, is to give you 6 basic things that you can keep in mind of how saying no, your ability just to say no when someone asks you to do something, or someone wants you to participate, et cetera, how that can improve your mental health status by decreasing stress and decreasing anxiety. One of the 6 ways, the first way is that by saying no, it allows you to set boundaries for yourself. And no is just basically one word. And not only are you able to set those boundaries, but the boundaries are clear and they can be consistent. And so this allows you to prioritize what you want to do and where you want to spend your time. Number 2, saying no is an act of self-care. It's like taking a shower. It's like taking medication. It's like eating properly. It's like sleeping properly. It's like going out and exercising. Uh, in essence, by setting those boundaries around yourself, you are predetermining what your activity is going to be, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that is extremely important because remember, we human beings are very complex organisms. And so we need direction, we need organization, and I believe we need structure. The third benefit of saying no is it boosts your self-esteem. Why? Because it reminds you that you have that ability. That instead of going out to dinner with someone maybe from work who may be have higher authority than you do at the job, but you really don't want to go and you don't have to go. But by saying no, it says, you know what, I have control of this environment. I have control of this circumstance, if you will. And so every time you say no, you get confident. Again, confidence comes from doing, right? If you want to become confident with something, you got to do something. And so the third principle of how no can decrease anxiety and stress within all of us is by building our self-esteem. And just like with anything else, as your self-esteem begins to go up or to increase, it continues to increase because it becomes self-perpetuating. The fourth way saying no helps to decrease our stress and anxiety is that it allows us to feel empowered. It's the way of developing empowerment. In other words, it reminds us, if you will, of the power that we already have. It reminds us of the power we already have. I've seen many patients over the years, men and women, who have given up their personal power. Given up their personal power. What do I mean by that? Your personal power determines how you feel. Your personal power determines how you feel. Example, if I get up in the morning and it's raining outside, and I said, oh my God, this is such a terrible day because it's raining and I'm going to get wet and I'm going to get soggy and I may get a cold and I'm going to be physically cold, as I walk around, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I am letting the weather determine what kind of day I'm going to have. Personal power. On the other hand, it could be raining outside and I can get up and I can say, oh, what a beautiful day. Because it's raining, it's going to clean up the leaves and everything is going to be so sparkly and bright when the sun does come out. And so my point is, I retain that power, and it's either up to me to decide what's going to influence it. And so if I decide that a rainy day is a good day because I want a good day, then I'm retaining and I'm using my personal power to help myself. On the other hand, if I decide that what other people do or what other people say or, oh my goodness, things that I have no control over, like the weather, occur, and I just go with whatever happens in a negative way, I am giving up that personal power. So, one of the things the ability to say no does is it allows us to keep our personal power. It is self empowering, if you will. The fifth way that no is beneficial in decreasing stress and anxiety is that it allows us to give ourselves permission. Now, it's similar to personal power, but it's a little different. Most of us, I'm going to suggest, who are working and running around and you're doing all sorts of things and you're taking care of at work and you're taking care of the kids and doing social work and volunteering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, we have to give ourselves permission to slow down. Think about that. And I learned this when I would, I early I had started my surgical practice, and I was in private practice by myself. And when I would decide, I really do need to take a weekend off. I really do need to get away, but I felt so guilty by doing that. I said, "Oh my God, what would happen to my patients?" And I had a number of colleagues who I trusted and who were just as good as I was in terms of practicing surgery. But it took me a while to figure out that I can give myself permission to take a weekend off or give myself permission to take a week off. And so my point, and I frame it that way because it's not anything else that anyone else gives us permission to do. We have to give ourselves permission and be okay with it. And that's my definition of self permission. When you do something and you're okay with it, you don't beat yourself up about it. You don't check your watch, per every single hour because you're afraid maybe you missed a call. You give yourself permission to say no. And you can say no is no, thank you, but no still means no. And that's one of the points I want to make is how you say no. Even though the term no may sound negative, but you can say no in a very positive way. You can say no with a smile, but no still means no. You can say no with words of encouragement or gratitude, but no still means no. You can say no with a hug or with laughter, but no still means no. Two letters, one syllable, no. So the sixth thing that no does is that it's a great way to improve our relationships. Frequently, relationships involve a lot of communication back and forth and a lot of activity, and there's a lot going on. But what no does, the word no, is it provides a certain degree of clarity and, as important, if not more so, honesty. Do you want to go to the movies? Okay, but you really don't want to go to the movies. Then just say, no, not today. Thanks anyway, though. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. Okay. So, one of the ways to improve your relationship, and this can be any type of relationship, it could be relationship with your brother or sister, or your husband or your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend, the people at work, your children. Um, be clear in your communication and be honest in your communication. And so it's important to keep in mind now, you aren't going to go out and do this just because you listen to this podcast today and be 100% effective with it. You will not. It requires practice. It's like exercise. I like to say the brain is a muscle, and to get that muscle in the best shape, you got to practice. You got to work out. And so my point is, I would recommend to you start practicing saying no. Okay. Now it may feel a little unusual if you don't do it often, or if you don't regularly say no, but do it anyway. Do it anyway. I honestly believe, and this is what I've learned, and I'm more than willing to pass this on to you, is that once you are comfortable saying no, and you can say no with a smile, You can say no, as we said before, with a hug. You can say no with laughter. You can say no with words of gratitude. But again, no still means no. So, in summary, the six ways that saying no can help you to maintain your personal power and to decrease your stress level, including making you happier and more relaxed. Number one, it creates and helps you set boundaries. Number two, saying no helps you develop self care. Number three, saying no helps you to grow and improve your self esteem. Number four, saying no helps you to develop self empowerment. Number five, saying no allows you to give yourself permission uh, to do different things or to control your own environment and to more in a more organized way do the things that you want to do that are enjoyable to you. And number six, saying no honestly may very well improve your relationship. In conclusion, as we always like to say, thank you so much for being with us and be the change that you want to see in the world. Have a wonderful day.